Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Chronically Healthy Life show. When you hear the word chronically, do you automatically associate it with chronic disease? We all do. It's been programmed into us. But what if we flip that whole idea on its head? Let's discover how we can create chronic health in our bodies, our minds, our finances, our relationships, and our lives. Welcome to the place where chronically means healthy, wealthy, joyful, and ridiculously alive. Let's flip the script together. I'm your host, Kristy Boyd Johnson, and today I am absolutely delighted to introduce our guest, Jeanine L. Williams. She is amazing. You do not want to miss this episode. We are going to be discussing remembering the roots, ancestral wisdom, intuitive guidance, and spiritual herbalism. And Jeanine, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I am so grateful to be here to share this space with you and everyone who's watching. And I have to say, I love conversations like this because they give us a chance to slow down a bit, to move beyond sound bites, and to really talk about who we are, what brings us to this work, and why it matters. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree. And yes, Jeanine is the founder of Ancestors Bosom.
Yes.
Her work weaves ancestral wisdom, intuitive guidance, and spiritual herbalism. Ooh,
Yeah.
this conversation today is about, we're going to get to know who Jeanine is, what led her to this work, and how she supports healing. Very, I think that's relevant to pretty much everybody. Jeanine, I love that. I love
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's start with you.
Okay, all right. Well, as Kristy said, I'm Dr. Jeanine L. Williams. I'm an ancestral medicine woman. I'm a spiritual herbalist. I'm an intuitive guide, and I'm the founder of Ancestors Bosom, which is a space for healing and for alignment that weaves together all these things. Right? When people ask me though, like how I came into this work, because that's always a question. Most people are like, "What's an ancestral medicine woman?" And then, how did you come into this work? I often say it's that it didn't begin when I chose it. Like it wasn't something that I said, "Oh, I'll be an ancestral medicine woman." It began when I remembered it, right? And so, what I do is who my soul has always been. Like I have always done this, and it was a remembering. And so I've always been someone who's listened deeply, like even before I had language for what that meant. As a child, I was sensitive, I was observant, I was deeply aware of emotion, of energy, and what wasn't being said. At that time, I didn't know to call that intuition. I just knew that I noticed things. And for a long time, I expressed that curiosity through academics and language, right? So I earned a PhD. I spent years teaching, writing, working in higher education. And that chapter mattered. It really shaped how I think, how I listen, how I hold complexity. But alongside that path, there was always something else kind of quietly present, like a pull toward plants, toward ritual, toward ancestry, toward lineage, a sense, as I got deeper on my healing journey, a sense that healing wasn't only something to kind of be studied, and just processed from an intellectual standpoint, but it was something to be like lived, embodied, remembered. And so what I understand now is that ancestral wisdom does not only live in kind of like history or tradition, it lives in the body. It lives in our longings, our sensitivities, right? Our patterns, and often in the questions we've carried our entire lives. And so for many people, especially those who, like me, who always felt too sensitive or out of place, those traits are not flaws. I've learned that those are sacred invitations. So, yes.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I mean, how different would our world be if we all thought, what is my soul calling me to do, rather than intellectualizing it.
Yes.
I'm curious about, what shaped you as a child. I mean, I know you were aware and you knew things, but you didn't know what to name it, but you felt it. So
Yes.
what was life like for you as a child?
So I am the eldest daughter of six. So I have an older brother who's a year older than me, but then I'm the eldest daughter. And then I had four sisters underneath me, right, in age. I'm a preacher's daughter. So that, that has always been, just kind of that there was always a high degree of kind of spiritual sense in the home, more religious than, spiritual as I would define it now. But I'm a water sign. I was born on Independence Day. I mean, so there's so many things just kind of in my birth chart or just, and all of those things that I now know impacted me. But I just was always really aware, always really in tune with my own feelings, in tune with the energy and feelings of others. I've shared on previous episodes that one of my sisters transitioned when we were children, and just that experience of death, right? And the kind of experience or in illness and death and all of that, experiencing that so closely, so young. So yeah, I've always had this kind of sensitivity and sensibility, a feeling of responsibility as an eldest daughter, and just how I was raised, or and whether those kind of expectations were real or imagined. Like that's what shaped my life, and so being aware of everyone. I do feel like the trauma of my sister transitioning and kind of having this death experience. I was 7 at the age of 7 does make you very aware, right? You don't even know how to find your grounding. And there's a lot of sadness. There's the strong people are sad, like my mom and dad. That was the first time I ever saw my father cry. And so that kind of shaped, I think I was already very sensitive, but that made me even more aware of, the sensitivities of others, the energy of others. Oh my goodness, is this another sad moment? Oh my goodness, is this going to be another moment of loss? Because that's what it felt like. And so, yeah, I didn't think I would go into all of that today, but that is weird. But that's it. And so I think I was already sensitive, but it kind of got a little bit skewed toward maybe more of a hypervigilance, and not necessarily, in a way that was that felt safe or productive. So a natural inclination to be sensitive and aware was then heightened in somewhat of a traumatic way because of the experience of loss so early in life. Yeah.
And I expect that as the eldest daughter, you were expected to be you were probably a little bit parentified.
Yes.
So then you become super aware of the kids because the parents are sad, they're in trauma.
Right. Yes. Right. No, so that was definitely the experience. And yeah, that was definitely an experience. And I'm taking a breath because I want to be very clear. I always feel like I need to be, yes, I was parentified. And I also understand, though, that two things can be true. My parents were doing the best that they could, and they meant me no harm. Yet, right? These expectations were present, and they were not most helpful or productive for me. Two things can be true.
Yes, especially at age 7.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so there was some that parentification. And I think that's also how I dealt with my grief. Let me get out of the way. Let me be useful. Oh my goodness. It looks like my younger siblings are feeling sad today. Oh boy. Let me help them be okay, because if they're sad, I can't see mom and dad sad. Like that was like, I became a handler. That was probably easier than having to sit with my own grief. I didn't even know how to like I had no framing to process my own grief. I was 7. So,
Yeah.
but I did know how to be a helper. I did know how to, I knew how to do those kinds of things. And so that was the approach that I took, as opposed to maybe sitting with myself. My parents also didn't necessarily, not necessarily, they did not have the tools, like, they did not know about, I mean, we handle things in a very religious sense, right? Because that was our sensibility. We prayed, we had a lot of support from our church family and all of that. But in terms of like, oh, let's go for therapy, like that, those weren't necessarily the sensibilities that were present at that time. And so we were all just, we were a family just trying to survive something that was very hard for all of us.
Oh yeah. You, the helper, being in service, sounds like that's how you were dealing with your grief. It helped you. It helped you to be in that role. Although, I mean, there's always trauma, but it helps to focus on other people sometimes.
Right. Yeah. So that, but to tie that into kind of this remembering and who I am now, right? That is what a lot of what I do is kind of holding space for others who are going through these transitions, these life transitions, whether it's trauma, whether it's grief, but but there is so much grief in any kind of transition. Like even if it's not the loss of a death, right? When we think of a physical death, we've lost a loved one, but every time that we are ascending, every time that we are taking on a new identity, elevating, right? We go through these cycles of death and rebirth, and there is this kind of support or midwifery or doulaship, right? That can help us as we're transitioning. And so that's a lot of what I provide in the work that I do now, from a more grounded and healed space. Having had those experiences, I walk people through those pivotal transitions. Yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love you're a spiritual doula. Because it's true. It's true. If we make a big transition, even if it's on the physical, like we move to a new location or we leave a job and go to something different, you find that in you've given your 2 weeks notice, you find yourself grieving.
Yes, absolutely. And grieving a lot of things, grieving because, the life that we had envisioned. I know when I left higher ed, when I felt the call to move out of that, it made me question my entire identity. There was a huge grieving of, mourning period of Dr. Jeanine L. Williams, professor, department chair. I had my own consulting practice where I traveled literally across the globe, helping organizations, institutions, and organizations with their writing curriculum. And so, what did it mean to walk away from that? Who was I going to be? And so this year really has been kind of even a reclamation of some of those parts that I thought had died, if you will, right? But there was a point where I did have to pack all of that away and fully immerse myself in Jeanine Ancestral Medicine Woman, Jeanine Spiritual Herbalist, Jeanine Intuitive Guide. Now there's this beautiful kind of reclamation of some of those things that were very present in Jeanine, professor, Jeanine, higher ed professional. And so there's a merging of those that is very beautiful. But there's been a lot of mourning. Like it's so much to get to that space, right?
Definitely.
And there was a time, again, where it was important for me to pack that all away.
Yes.
Yes. And so, and so that's a lot of the transition too that people face and that they need that support with as they're journeying.
Oh, I can't wait to go deeper into this conversation, Jeanine. But right now we're going to take a quick break. So stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Everything we're made of contains light. From the sun that feeds our world to the energy that flows within us. With LifeWave X39, we've found a way to put that light to work. With X39, we achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and science that others could not. By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHK-Cu, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality. By gently stimulating the skin with light, our non-invasive, non-transdermal X39 patches help you conquer your active lifestyle and pave a new way to vibrant health. Becoming a powerhouse is easier than you think. It all starts with your body and a little help from light. Place one LifeWave X39 patch on the body. Apply the patch to clean, dry skin in the morning. Patches may be worn for up to 12 hours before discarding. Keep well hydrated while using this product. Harness your natural potential. Reclaim youthful energy. Live long, live well, live young with LifeWave X39. Be the light. LifeWave.
Healing doesn't begin in the body, it begins in the spirit. I'm Dr. Jeanine L. Williams, founder of Ancestors Bosom, a sacred space for spiritual and ancestral remembrance. Through intuitive guidance and energy work, I help you reconnect with your highest self and align your spirit, mind, and body with the rhythm of your ancestors. Together, we listen for what your spirit needs. We release what no longer serves you. We restore balance and open the path to peace, clarity, and purpose. My work is supported by spiritual herbalism, plant allies that ground and nourish your transformation. Every session is a ceremony of remembrance, a return home to yourself. Ancestors Bosom, where healing begins with remembrance. Visit AncestorsBosom.com and begin your journey home.
Hello and welcome back to the Chronically Healthy Life Show. We are here with Jeanine Williams and we are getting to know her.
Yes.
So we started to touch on just before the break, Jeanine, about how you had to pack away an old identity to explore what you were moving into. Well, how did you kind of feel that shift starting and what was the process there?
So I would say that like there came this point on my life path where I was successful by many standards, right? But it just kind of no longer fit in my body. So I was doing what I had been trained to do, right? I was accomplished, I was capable, I was outwardly stable, but internally, like something felt misaligned. And I know many people watching can recognize that feeling, like when life looks solid on the outside, but inside there's like exhaustion, there's this low grade grief, and this quiet sense of disconnection. And so for me, those feelings became my moment of reckoning. Like I needed to do something different. I needed to heal. And when I use this term healing, right, I did not feel that there was an ailment of sorts, right? I just knew that there was dis-ease. I was no longer in flow, right? I was no longer at peace. I was feeling this tension and resistance. And so that was that was what needed to be examined and healed. And so with that though, I began to see healing, especially for people living with chronic stress, because a lot of our indicators of success It's really that we are under chronic stress. We are pushing ourselves to fit in the box, to, we're part of the rat race, and all of the language that we have for that, or we're burning out, we're overachieving, like all of this glorified language, but we're really just living under chronic stress, which then leads to chronic illness. And in my experience, it wasn't necessarily physical illness. It was lots of anxiety, right? A mind that could not quiet. And so this kind of, so we have a lot of people living with the chronic stress, which is also chronic illness, and long-term emotional strain. Like that was what I was under. And that can't be accessed or dealt with through intellect alone. It required embodiment. It required me coming out of my mind and into my body, connecting with my spirit. It required a slowing down that this world does not typically allow.
No, especially in America.
Yes. And but it did require that slowing down, and it required a remembering of parts of myself that were never meant to be lost. And so that for me, that exhaustion, that feeling out of alignment, that was my spirit saying, okay, hey lady, we know that you're doing big things, but we need your attention. There's something more for you. You know what I mean? There's something better for you and for the collective. And so that's where kind of ancestral wisdom started really emerging and becoming central in my work, and not as an abstract concept, but as a lived relationship, because I had to slow down enough and start kind of asking myself questions like, who came before me? What did they survive? What wisdom still lives in me, right? When I was thinking about leaving that career path, I remember sitting with my grandmother and who had transitioned. This was the first time I ever called on an ancestor. And I thought about her life and what I understood and knew of her. And I just asked her, Grandmama, what did you know? Right. So it was this sense that I'm at this inflection point. I know I can't continue this way. I'm feeling this churning or this pull or, this remembering, and I can't even quite name it. But I do know my grandmother. I loved her. She cared for me. And she is who came to mind, and I called on her. So that was, that was a big part of that journey for me too, was again, just realizing something's out of alignment and then having the audacity to slow down enough to start questioning it. I mean, because I was so used to just pushing through, right? You just push through.
Right.
But I could no longer push through. Like, I couldn't even bring myself to push through. And so, yeah.
Yeah. So you, in a manner of speaking, you actually stopped the breakdown because you could have gone fully into I cannot get out of bed breakdown.
Yes. Right.
But by becoming aware.
Yes.
And going within and feeling your body.
Yes.
You were able to breathe and take that space to allow the thing to come in. That's amazing.
Yes. I use that tension as an invitation. Like, as I said, when we started, right, that was a sacred invitation. Now, there was a version of me that would look at that as, oh, Jeanine, you're being lazy. Oh, Jeanine, you need to push through. Oh, Jeanine, and all of that. Yeah. Right.
Programming.
Right. Programming. Right. Because that's what we do. But it was something about, but I believe that was ancestral. I believe that was my grandmother. Like, I believe that was, I had this moment of just, I had enough clarity to slow down and become curious about the tension, as opposed to just numbing myself through more. Yes. And so, so it was a sacred invitation that everything aligned for me to have the wherewithal to say yes to that invitation. Right?
Yes. Yes. So I think, how did this transitional phase change your relationship to the idea of healing? Because I think people think healing is an end thing.
Yes.
Whereas I think it's a process thing.
Yes. Yes. And it is.
So what happened for you? How did that change you?
So like seeing it more as a sacred journey. Like, and so that's something even now, like when I have clients and they come with an ailment, whether it's a physical ailment or it's something, you know, that they're feeling mentally and emotionally. I always immediately begin with kind of, let's reframe, like this is a sacred invitation. Your body, right, or your mind is saying, I need something, I need hello. And you are actually stopping and acknowledging that. And so realizing that it's a journey. I would say at the same time that all of this was happening, like my relationships with herbs deepened, right? Realizing that like everything that we need grows from this earth. Like, you know, we're surrounded by it. And so even just stopping approaching plants as tools or fixes, right? But realizing that they are teachers and allies, right? So just again, embracing this journey, this like healing as a journey, as a sacred journey. And herbal medicine actually showed me that healing is rarely linear, right? It's rhythmic, it's relational. It unfolds over time.
Yes.
And so what I kind of see again and again, particularly with people navigating chronic health challenges, or like the clients that I see, is that so much of what the body is holding comes from years of pushing, from overriding intuition, and from living in survival mode. And so from this perspective, healing isn't about fixing what's broken. It's about returning to wholeness. We are already whole, but we put ourselves in these situations or we submit to a system that that doesn't allow for that wholeness.
Right.
And so much of healing is saying, no, I will not go this way. I am going to listen. I'm going to return back to my sensibilities, right? Because we are already whole. The body is, works to be in balance.
Yes.
In any imbalance, it's the body trying to, like, even if we think about a tumor, or a mass, that it's the body realizing, my goodness, something's off here. Let's isolate it.
Yeah.
Right. And while we try to figure out what's going on with it, right. To keep, like, we are intelligently made, like, to do that, but we're so disconnected from that. Yeah. But wholeness is our default. And so healing is about getting back to wholeness, right? Returning to the wholeness that is already ours, as opposed to, oh my goodness, my body's turning on me. Oh my goodness, my mind is no good. We know all of that, but returning back to what's already within us.
I would love for that to be a huge message, is that our bodies don't turn on it. Our bodies do not turn on ourselves. Your body is fighting an invader or a stressor. It can be emotional, it can be mental.
Absolutely.
It is not, your body does not, autoimmune is fake. It doesn't exist. Right. If you're having an autoimmune response, your body's trying to heal you.
Yes, right.
And
yes.
So how would that, like, depending on what they tell you, would you like look at herbs that would help them depending on what they're telling you?
Yes. So I always start with spirit, right? Okay. Because they come and they're presenting a lot of times a physical ailment. It can be something like, I'm not sleeping, right? Or, or, oh, I just have this pain in my arm, or whatever. But everything, the body is always speaking. So I want to know, tell me a little bit more about why you think you're not sleeping. Tell me a little bit more about this pain, and what side of your body is the pain in, and what particular part of your body, because all of that, relates to different things spiritual. Like, if someone's having liver issues, right? Their anger. The first door is anger, right? Anything happening on the right side of our body is related to masculine energies, right? Because we all have both, right? And so maybe we're leaning a little bit too more in one or another. So I want to understand those kinds of things and really get to kind of the spiritual roots of it, because again, true healing, you get to the root cause, right? And the symptoms, just throwing herbs, and sometimes that's the challenge with it. They want to treat herbs like they treat pharmaceuticals. No, herbs are allies. Herbs are, you must journey with them, right?
Yes.
You must be in relationship with them. And so when I understand a little bit more kind of what's going on spiritually with the client, it's actually interesting, because a lot of times I'll even just start sensing herbs. Like herbs will kind of come to my awareness. And then a client will come and they'll present, and it's like, that's why I've been called to calendula. And here's the skin issues, right? So it really is understanding. Yes, I want to talk about your physical symptoms, but let's drill down. Let's drill down beneath that and really get to spirit and what's going on there. And from there, let's think about some herbal protocols that will help alleviate the physical symptoms, but be addressing the root cause, right?
Yes.
That is hugely important. And then ritual is very important in healing, and ritual is important with herbs. This isn't just, take 2 of these and call me in the morning. Not that, right? I even tell clients too, okay, so do you want to heal? Do you want to be better? Because your intention is very important. Do you think that you can heal? And with that, because for example, when I have clients who come with anxiety, and if I give them my peace tincture, which is lavender, passion flower, and lemon balm, if you're asking these herbs of peace to journey with you and give you peace, you cannot entertain chaos. So, you must be in relationship with them and see that in that way, because they align with, herbs align with our intentions, because we are the powerhouse. There is nothing outside of us. We are the powerhouse. And so our intentions, herbal allies align with our intentions. And that's how the kind of that healing journey begins. It's not that the herbs are something special. You must be, you must bring your power. You must bring your intention. You must bring your magic, right, to this experience. That's the only way for that to work. Yeah.
I love that. It's been so programmed out of us that we're just puppets, but we are sovereign beings having a human experience.
Yes.
And yes, you're right. We are the power. We have the power.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why even when I work with clients too, let's be mindful of your energy. No fearful talk. When that fear comes up, command it to be gone. Send it elsewhere. Because even if you're spending time thinking, oh, I really don't want this to happen. I really don't want this to happen. I really don't want this to happen. You are so powerful that your focus there, it will manifest. Our physical reality has no choice but to follow, right? What's going on in our spiritual reality. And so that's why when we say, oh, I really didn't want that to happen, and I knew it would happen anyway. Yes. Because we put our energy there.
Yes. Oh, I know. Affirmations, that's one of the big errors, is if you say, I don't want a pink elephant, what are you thinking about? You have to think, I want a purple panda bear.
Right. Yes.
And then that's what you're thinking about. And that's where your energy goes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So and herbs help us with that, and so that would be also something I would think about with herbal protocols as well too, is thinking about what does the client need, of course, to support the body, but what do they need for the mind, right? To support every aspect of them. And there are herbs that help you feel more empowered, so it's all of those things that we want to address. But if I just say, oh, you're having a stomach issue here, take this digestive support tincture, without thinking about everything else that's happening that would make your gut be out of, out of whack. So then it doesn't get to the root cause.
That makes complete sense. We are we are a whole being.
Yes, we are.
And so, and then the ritual, I would think, like, I know, like, if you take water and you bless it before you drink it,
Absolutely.
the power, but you could do that with the herbs and the plants. Like, thank you for.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Carrying the herbs with you. Like, sometimes you don't even have to ingest it. Here's a sachet of herbs. Like, keep this with you.
Yes.
Yes, hold on to it. So even that's part of nurturing the relationship too. And so maybe it's something that a client will be actually ingesting, or maybe it's a topical, but okay, carry this bay leaf with you, carry these things with you, because that is going to be kind of working on, that energetic and that spiritual element too. So that's what I really mean by spiritual herbalism. Yes, herbs help the body, but herbs are spiritual allies as well. They carry spiritual and energetic qualities, and we need to be tapping into all of that, because that is healing, because that is all of who we are. Yes.
Jeanine, I am loving this conversation. I hate to take a break now, but stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Okay. Why do 98% of beauty enthusiasts rave about coolness? It's all in the blend of ancient wisdom and modern science. Introducing Coolness, Pearlescent Face and Eye Serum Cream. This powerhouse combines the antioxidative power of schisandra berries, the glow of pearl powder, and the hydrating wonders of dragon's blood extract. It's like a time machine for your skin, making it radiant, firm, and oh so smooth. Inspired by ancient Chinese traditions and backed by modern nutritional science, this serum cream is perfect for dry, mature, and aging skin. It's time to unlock your inner glow with Coolness. Treat your skin to the best of both worlds today.
The time has come for us, the parents who want more for their children and the teachers who want to love teaching again, to band together and stop the coercion and control and the crazy-making boredom. How? By making learning a joyful experience in a relaxed environment. By supporting and encouraging kids, not forcing or tricking them. Meet Kristy Boyd Johnson and the Barefoot Learning Club membership. Go to www.barefootlearningclub.com and
Healing doesn't begin in the body. It begins in the spirit. I'm Dr. Jeanine L. Williams, founder of Ancestors Bosom, a sacred space for spiritual and ancestral remembrance. Through intuitive guidance and energy work, I help you reconnect with your highest self and align your spirit, mind, and body with the rhythm of your ancestors. Together, we listen for what your spirit needs. We release what no longer serves you. We restore balance and open the path to peace, clarity, and purpose. My work is supported by spiritual herbalism, plant allies that ground and nourish your transformation. Every session is a ceremony of remembrance, a return home to yourself. Ancestors Bosom, where healing begins with remembrance. Visit AncestorsBosom.com and begin your journey home.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Chronically Healthy Life Show. Jeanine, we were getting into the spiritual herbalism, but I would also like to go into what it looks like to work with your ancestors in your healing process, because that's very unusual. I don't think people think that way. So tell us a little about that.
So the work, as we said before, the work that I do now weaves together ancestral healing, intuitive guidance, and spiritual herbalism. And so at its core, it's about remembrance, right? And so remembering the self, the body, the spirit, and the wisdom that already exists within each person. And so when someone works with me, the experience isn't rushed or prescriptive, right? We really slow down. We really listen. We notice patterns, right? The things that were always so germane to me as a child, slowing down, listening, noticing patterns, not just physical symptoms, but emotional, spiritual, and ancestral threads, because a lot of what we kind of carry are shaped by experiences way beyond us, right? So certain inclinations, certain predispositions, right, are ancestrally situated. And so, and ancestral healing is deeply supportive of the nervous system because it restores a sense of belonging, right? When we're having a healing crisis, a lot of times we feel alone, right? We don't know where this came from. Why is this happening to me, right? And so when we start thinking maybe more ancestrally, we start getting answers as to why we may be journeying this way, why this may be presenting. And so it does restore a sense of belonging and a deeper kind of understanding and situating ourselves within something larger. Now we could say, oh my goodness, those annoying ancestors, that's why I'm so sick. That's not what I mean. But many, again, people carry the weight of feeling alone in their healing, right? And so when we kind of add in or connect with that ancestral element, it reminds us that we are part of living lineages and not like isolated problems that need to be solved. And so thinking about the origins of things, I'm trying to think, I'm sorry, I'm getting like a little bit of a download. So let me let that come through. I thought, well, I wanted to say one thing, but again, this is something that happens in sessions too. It's kind of this ancestral knowledge, or just kind of these ancestral whispers coming through. We're not alone, right? And so that's it. So when I think about a sense of belonging, particularly when we're going through transitions and challenges, that we can call on ancestral strength and ancestral wisdom, because we are the physical manifestation of our ancestors. We are still here, yes. Right? And so that wisdom still lives within us, like we carry it forward. And in the same way that we may carry forward ailments or our challenges or traumas ancestrally, right? That there is wisdom, there is love, there is protection that we carry forward as well. And that we need to be able to tap into that too. So yeah, I'm going to stop. Like that's what it is. And so bringing those things forward is important, and not, again, looking at ancestry or kind of our ancestral connection as just the trauma that, or the challenges or the things that went wrong in their lives. We do carry that. And we are a lot of times being asked to heal that for our lineages so it doesn't move forward, right? But we're also called to bring forward the strengths, the knowledge, the wisdom. Like when I sat out and I asked my grandmother what she knew,
yes,
I got answers. And
yes.
It come from, oh, do this and do that. But it was just this intuition, this knowing, this sense of, here's some ways to think about it. Here are the things that are going to be challenging to you, Jeanine, right? So knowing ways to support myself, knowing ways, the things that I would have to heal based on my ancestral experiences. All of that is part of healing and elevation too. Knowing what the walls are, right? What the barriers are. And a lot of those are ancestral. A lot of the grief that we carry, and we're like, why am I so sad? Like, in our minds, what has happened to us doesn't match this grief. This grief is here. What is going on? A lot of that is ancestral in our lineage, and we need to clear that out so that we move forward. Yes.
Yeah. It's really interesting because both of my grandmothers hang around me all the time. Mm-hmm. And one of them saw me through getting away from my abusive ex-husband. Uh-huh. I actually felt her like shaking me, like, get out of this. Yes. And it's true. Those aren't your imagination. Mm-hmm. Those are real. They love you and they want you to heal. And that was a major healing for me.
Absolutely. So. Right. Because you are the line, you are the carrier of the line. Right. And so, yes. And so they will shake you. They will, knock
you upside the head.
Yes. Right. And a lot of times, again, we'll talk ourselves out of it.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times, even before someone is having physical symptoms, something's off. You sense it. But you talk yourself out of it.
Yes. Yes.
And those are those ancestral whispers, as far as I'm concerned. Just know something's off, right? Or even just being curious when we do have to go through challenges. What is this trying to teach me? Like, I'll share this. A few weeks ago, I went to pumping soap because I was going to wash my hands. And the soap shot right into my left eye. I mean, it burned like the dickens. Like I couldn't even breathe. Right. And I was like, this is so random. Why? What on earth? Out of all the places it could have gone, like, I don't even know how it got aimed to my eye. Let me say this. One thing I do know is that anything on the left side of our body is our feminine energy. And I had some relationships and some connections that needed to be put to rest, like, because they were not facilitating my elevation. They weren't necessarily bad things or bad people. They just needed to go. And so being ancestrally aware, being spiritually aware, and being curious, I did not just take that as, oh, this is just a random thing that's happening to me. That to me was an ancestral moment of Jeanine. Oh, lady, open your eyes, connect to your divine feminine energy, right? Clarity. You need to see this clearly.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the way that my attention was gotten. So it really changes the way that you see these experiences, right? Yes. Because that would have just been annoying and poor me. But when I thought about it in relation to things that I was already sensing in my life, things that I knew and that gave me that experience. I mean, because the next day the eye was sore, it was red, and it was a reminder of get clear.
Yes.
You need to get clear. And because it was that side of my body, I knew it was related to my feminine wisdom and energy. And I was ignoring that because I didn't want to I was afraid to move out of these relationships and connections. I felt like I felt like I needed them, or, I mean, it's hard to close doors, but that was a moment of close the door. Right. And that's what I did. And those connections have kind of vibrated out for me.
Yes.
But that was a moment of getting intentional and being clear. And you know what it was too? It was lavender soap. I make lavender soap. So that's not lost on me, right? That lavender is peace, but lavender is also clarifying.
Isn't it also protection?
Yes. So, right. So taking what seemed like, oh, this is just a random moment and something that's unfortunate. No, it had deep spiritual and ancestral significance for me. My sister, when I think of my sister, lavender is our color. Lavender is our thing. Like when I connect with her, like it's always lavender. So I knew that was messaging from her. So yes. Yeah. So anyway, that's.
Yeah. It's amazing. I just love that because I think we just discount it. Yes. I can't tell you the number of times that I've been driving a route that I always take to go to work or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I've heard turn the other way. Yes. And and I got to the point of, I just go the other way now. Right. Because it always turns into, there's a big accident, there's a big problem, you don't get there on time. And they blame you for accidents on the freeway, especially when we lived in California. Right. And and so I more people listened like that. Mm-hmm. I wonder what would happen if people really just took a breath. Right. And said, what is the message? Yes. And didn't overwrite it. Right. And so when we have, these healing challenges, or when we're at points of tension and transition, let that, instead of being curious and leaning in and kind of trusting that tension as a divine message, as an ancestral message, we want to dismiss it. Mm. And so, so that, like, to tie back to spiritual herbalism, so what am I hearing, and what are the herbal allies that could help support me, in clarity? So after I had that experience with my eye, because I was also starting to feel drawn to skull cap, which is good for kind of mental clarity, or even mullein. Mullein clears out your sinuses, but mullein clears you out spiritually. Yes, right. And so just even thinking about things from that perspective, because that's total healing.
right? That is kind of total support, like in moving forward. And that's what I offer to clients. And so it does start with kind of that intuitive guidance, me being intuitively grounded, and being able to tap into their energy, because sometimes they are not as clear. But by the time we're done, they are more clear. They know what to listen to. And that's why when they have a session, like, oh my goodness, how did you know? I am simply an open channel and vessel for what's already going on with you, but you didn't believe it. You believe it now that it's come through me, right? Because we always we need validation outside of us, right? But so part of it is teaching them to listen to their own wisdom, right? You don't need Jeanine to tell you. And there are ways but perhaps you need that support as you're getting comfortable with that. And so my goal is always that you leave the healing container for me, and you don't need me. Like you're not dependent on me. You're not even necessarily dependent on herbs. You see them as allies that you can work with those energies, right? That ultimately support you and restoring yourself to wholeness and to the power that is already you. Like, so that for me, and then our ancestors help us with that. They have walked, they have lived, they've experienced this human experience. They are now outside of that, right? And so there is a kind of a wisdom, a protection, a guidance, a love. They see things differently, and so we can tap into that, so that we're again not alone. And they co-create with us, they co-conspire with us. That it's a support system, because we are, as you said, sovereign and spiritual beings having a human experience, not the other way around.
Exactly. So do clients that come to you that are drawn to you, they're probably in some form of waking up. Am I right about that?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So my work tends to resonate most with people who are who are intuitive, sensitive, spiritually curious, often very exhausted, right? From trying to heal within a system that doesn't see them fully, or, trying to live in a system or move in a system that doesn't, they're feeling out of alignment, and they can't do it anymore. And so, that's who are most drawn to me, those types, the types who were like I was as a child. We started with that, and they've always had this sensibility. They had learned to stuff it down, but we come to these points in life where we cannot stuff it down anymore. The stuffing down becomes dis-ease.
Yes. Yes. I'm a full believer that that's what causes cancer.
Yes.
That's the real cause. And
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. And that scares people to think that. And it's not that you have to blame yourself. Oh, you're horrible and you caused your own cancer, but understanding how powerful you are, understanding how, in the same way that you can allow cancer to consume your body, because you're not kind of standing in your power. You can reverse that.
Yes.
You can take charge of that, right? So again, it's not to position you as, oh, it's all your fault and shame. No, right? No, it's look at this. Now you have an opportunity to get into alignment.
Yes. Oh, I would love to continue this, Jeanine, but we're running out of time. So please share with our audience, how can they find you out in the world?
Oh, AncestorsBosom.com is my hub. You can also find me on, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Threads. But really the way to kind of get connected with me and to get on my calendar, I do free consultations, is through AncestorsBosom.com.
Yes. I believe the QR code goes to your, on the screen, goes to your website. So so you can go there right now and meet Jeanine. She is fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing so many wonderful things, Jeanine. It's been an absolute delight having you today.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for making space for this conversation and, for honoring the many paths, right, that bring us all to healing.
Yes. Okay, that's a wrap, folks. Join us every Friday at 7:00 p.m. Central Time on e360tv.com, on the Vitality TV network, or you can go to YouTube at Chronically Healthy Life. Swing by chronicallyhealthylife.com this week for your free 30-minute consultation with Andy and our brand new healing skincare line at coolness.com. Until then, stay vibrant, stay fierce, stay ridiculously, unapologetically, chronically healthy. See you next Friday.